It's not going very fast, and that's a bit of my problem right now. Can I make sure that it's not going to tilt to one side? I don't know about that. Come on, game. Okay, it's going. It's going straight up. One might say it's going perfectly. It's beautiful. Oh, no, go back. No, don't go to the left. Don't you do it. All right, time to launch the boosters off and then hit the main engines. So far, flawless. And knock those off. This is working a lot better than I thought it would, actually. This might be one of the most successful first launches we've had with something so experimental, which is a little surprising. I was expecting lots of death and destruction and pain and explosions. We are carrying quite a bit of extra fuel that we're not actually burning, so it does make it a little bit more difficult than it needs to be, but we will do our gravity turn now that we're at about 14,000. And go. Nice. So far, so good. So what we're going to do once we actually get an orbit is we're going to use MechJib to circularize the orbit to make sure it's a, you know, a solid like 200,000 or 100,000 meters. Otherwise, it makes it very difficult because it's not symmetrical. It's not a symmetrical orbit around the planet, which means when you're trying to dock, you know, at certain points of the orbit, whatever you're docking to is either speeding up or slowing down, so it's very difficult to actually get it correct. With what we're going to do with the circularizing is we're going to make sure that it is a perfect circle around the planet. And once again, MechJib is just helping to do that for us. It's kind of like what we do when we go to a different planet. We use MechJib to plot the best course to go with. And I could figure that out on my own. It just takes too long. And there's math involved. And to be quite honest, I don't like all of the math involved with aeronautics and all of that fun stuff. But, you know, I do like actually doing the aeronautics regardless. So I'm going to go full on horizontal here, which should help. I'm just waiting for these engines to burn off. And then we will get rid of them. Okay, we got our one left, which is great. What is this at? I want it at about 230. Okay, so that'll work for now. We'll get kind of to that, so we need to speed up time. I want a large orbit because it makes it a little easier and less laggy for docking, at least to me. I know other people prefer it other ways. This is just the way that I've learned to like it. So let's go back in and slowly turn ourselves to the horizon. Right about there. Now we're gonna burn. Oop. Suddenly we have control again because we have a giant engine pushing us. And we're just basically gonna wait to get at least a stable orbit and then we'll circularize it, which should be quite good. And that will, I'll make sure I, you know, figure it all out beforehand, but hopefully I won't screw anything up. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, as you can see, this is at 198, and that's at 241, so that's not a perfect circle around the planet, which, once again, makes it very difficult. So we're going to go to, where is it at? Not rendezvous planner, no, I'm totally lost here. Maneuver planner, there we go. Circularize, and we want to create a node. How's it gonna do it? It's gonna do it right now. Let's go ahead and let it, we're gonna autopilot because I can't circularize worth a damn. I can't get it to do what I need to do. And it seems that it actually is trying to figure it out very slowly. We'll see if it works. Once again, our craft without, you know, throttle doesn't work very well. Yeah, it doesn't want to do what I need it to do, which is a little unfortunate. So instead, we're going to have to eyeball it, which is unfortunate. Okay, so we need to turn that off, we need to go back to our ship, which feels like it's completely out of control. Come on, keep going. Turn. Turn. There we go. It'll do it eventually. And right on it. Nice. Although this is going to be pretty much completely different once we start going, to where we need to burn at. But for the time being, what this will allow us to do is at least be on the right horizon. Then we can just move, up and down along it rather than left and right, which seems to have a bit more control, strangely enough. Okay, so we're going to get to the... Do we want to make it like 200 flat? I think that would be the best thing. All right, let's do 200. 200,000, that is. So we're going to get here and we're going to retrograde, which will require us to get down to this marker. Which I think I'm going to the wrong... No, I'm going to the right one. Thought I was going to the wrong one. Turns out I'm going to the right one. And we want to do it from about here. We'd start burning. Okay. I want that down to, whoa, 200,000. There we go. That'll work. Let's speed up and get to the apoapsis. And from there, we can prograde and get this to what we need it to be. Wow, we're actually really close to that node, so that's perfect for us. Come on, a little further. Just kind of backwards. No, I'm going too much. I didn't start slowing down enough. And I'm like on the apoapsis. Actually, I'm past it, kind of. So I need to really hurry this up if I can. I would turn RCS on, but I don't have it available because I want it for docking. I want all the fuel there. And 200,000. Yeah, that's pretty much right on the money. That's kind of what we want to see, which is perfect. So now we get to do the very sketchy thing here. We actually have to stop spinning if we can, but the best way to do that is actually getting rid of this. So we're going to close that. We are going to then pop. Okay, well, fine. It doesn't want to do it. So decouple. And that's going to float away. Now, I didn't need all of these little engines, which is great, actually. I'm appreciative of that. But, we might be able to actually take the fuel out of it. I'm not sure if we will be able to, but we might be able to. So I'm going to hold on to them. It at least allows us to readjust if we need to. So I'm just going to get rid of that and that. I don't know why it's not actually... There we go. So those have launched. We suddenly have a lot more control over the craft. I want to turn SAS on, like so. But I want to face this kind of towards the horizon. And in 90 or in 50%, because if I'm to the horizon based on the planet, in 50% of the scenarios when I come up to this, I will be facing the right direction. Because obviously this is going to be facing this direction, and as I spin around it, the craft itself will rotate, which is kind of a weird way to think about it, but that's how it works. So the last thing we need to do is pop these out, like so. And now we have extra power. Gonna leave the lights on so that it's easier to see. I don't have to switch to it when I go to dock. And we have plenty of battery, so that's pretty much the best case scenario for this. Maybe I will turn the lights off for now, just for the time being. Just as a, just in case. Actually, I don't need to, because I'm not going to be flying it anywhere. It's just going to be floating. So what we want to do, actually, is go back to the Space Center. This is when things get a little sketchy, because, when you launch that engine, it's just going to float there, so you don't want it to run into you. And the best way to avoid that is by... Where's debris? Probes, rovers, debris. Okay. Refueling. So you see all this debris here? We want to get rid of most of this. In fact, we will. So let's start terminating one at a time here. In fact, ooh, I can recover this. Not that it's going to give me anything, but I can recover it because this is all at the launch pad. I'm pretty sure most of this are boosters. And I did, quite a few episodes ago mention that I'd like to keep this debris field clean for various reasons. One, it reduces frame rate lag once you get, a lot of it. You want to kind of clean it up a bit because all that stuff is rendering in the world. These things floating around the planet, while it's incredibly unlikely, it is possible. And you see, this is what it's, this is the one that I just launched off. So I want to get rid of this by terminating it. And that means that won't ever run into my station out there. But it's incredibly unlikely, however, still possible that you can hit a floating engine in the sky. And I know people who have had that happen, so you want to be quite careful with it. It's just, it's weird that you could think of it ever happening because, it's such a small space. But if you're launching the same way constantly, the chances of it happening, I think, greatly increase exponentially if you're constantly doing the same type of launch. So let's do that. Let us go to this. This is not going to be a probe. We're going to change this. So we want to go back and fly it. And we're going to change this to the icon of a station. So can I click on it? That's always the hard part. Whoop, I had it for a second there. There we go. Rename vessel. It is going to be refueling Duna. And it will be as a station. Boom. So that way, when we go back to the Space Center, and then we go back to the observation thing, we can see it looks like a space station floating around, and it's called Refueling Duna. And it's pretty much as perfect as we were going to get for that. So that means when we launch to go to Duna, we can dock with it, get the fuel that we need to finish the mission, and then come back, which is going to be a very difficult mission that we're starting in the next episode. So with that being said, and, all luck being wished upon me for the next mission, we'll see you guys next time.